Well, we got an update in the potential Mike Tomlin moving on from the Pittsburgh Steelers, this time coming from The Athletic, and the Chicago Bears are actually linked to this rumor. How valid is it? We'll talk about all that and more right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. I'm the host, Sir Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chi Bears Central on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the content for today. So this one's coming from The Athletic and Dianna Russini from that outlet saying this: there's been chatter around the NFL that the Steelers might consider trading Tomlin to teams that either have a coaching vacancy or expected to have an opening, like the Washington Commanders, Chicago Bears, or Carolina Panthers. She also noted that Mike Tomlin is under contract for one more season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, would allow that team to pick up a few more extra draft assets as they look to go towards a new complete direction for their franchise. Now, the fact of the matter is this, is that you've heard now the Chicago Bears being rumored around Mike Tomlin a couple of times. Now, this could absolutely be just that it makes sense that, the Bears are reportedly moving on from Matt Eberflus. They could be considering it. So, of course, you're going to throw the Chicago Bears, that franchise, in their names in the hat when you're talking about a big-time coach like Mike Tomlin coming out. But when you add this to the rumors from like David Kaplan saying from what he's heard that the Chicago Bears would spare no expense if it meant being able to bring Mike Tomlin into this team. Now, the fact of the matter is this, right? Coaches have been traded before, but you got to ask yourself, should the Chicago Bears give up draft assets to bring in a coach like Mike Tomlin? And that's a big question there, right? And it depends on what the asking price is and what it has been before. But at the end of the day, if the Steelers are considering this, it would say a lot about the team. The team has not made brass decisions very much at all in their franchise's history. They've only had 3 head coaches since 1969. 3 head coaches since 1969. You can't necessarily say that. But Mike Tomlin, when you look at it, he's tied for 14th most wins in NFL history at 170 wins. And I know some Bears fans, you guys pointed out how the Steelers have performed since Big Ben went down and things like that. But I also look at it that they haven't necessarily had the best roster. But so this raises a new wrinkle and questions for what the Chicago Bears could look to do. Now, I don't know if the Bears would necessarily make a trade. It depends on what it is. There have been 5 coaches in the NFL who have been traded before. Bill Belichick was traded to the New England Patriots. You look at John Gruden, he was traded to the Oakland Raiders. Traded from the Oakland Raiders to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2002. And then you have Herm Edwards, who was traded from the New York Jets to the Kansas City Chiefs in 2006. Mike Holmgren also was traded from the Green Bay Packers to Seattle Seahawks in 1999. And so, there have been, when you look at Mike Holmgren, for example, he was traded for a second-round pick that ended up being 47th overall. Bill Parcells also was traded from New England Patriots to the New York Jets in 1997. So there is precedent set for that. And it seems like even when you look at the Patriots, when they were traded, it was for a 4th-round pick and a 2nd-round pick. So, coaches can net you back. Herm Edwards, when he was trading for a 4th-round pick. So it depends on what that draft capital is going to be. Now, here's the question I'm going to throw to you guys. Not a lot to talk about here, but when it comes down to it, would you be willing to trade a 2nd, a 3rd, a 4th-round pick for a coach like Mike Tomlin? Or if you hear the things that are going on, maybe you wait it out and see if they do just end up parting ways and he signs with a new team. With the 1 year left on the deal, it allows somebody to go ahead, lock him in, and sign him to an extension, things like that. Before a team like the Chicago Bears that still do have plenty of premium positions that they would need to fill. Now, one could say maybe the Chicago Bears trade back, but by the draft, you want your head coach already. So the Bears would potentially be trading one of the picks they already have in the draft. So it raises a lot of questions. It raises some options for the Chicago Bears. But then again, if you get into a bidding war with the Carolina Panthers, who just gave up a lot to trade for the number 1 overall pick last year, right? Could they be looking to trade even more assets to bring in a coach, or could they look to hold on to it, right? So there's a lot of questions there. Like I said, the validity of this, I guess we'll wait and see where it goes. But at least for right now, there's now a question being raised on if Mike Tomlin is put out on the trade market. Would the Chicago Bears be willing to entertain that? And then would they be willing to give up the potential draft capital and cash to bring in Mike Tomlin? They would have to be extremely sold on Mike Tomlin is the guy to turn this team around. Now, The Athletic has been hit and miss when it comes to rumors and things like this. They hit on some, they miss on a lot. But So it's a question there. But again, I guess we'll see it. Still got 3 games to go through. We're not going to see any type of resolution to this until the offseason officially begins. But it is something now in the back of many Bears fans' minds, and apparently in the back of maybe insiders from around the NFL. But let me know what you guys think, as always, down below. Make sure you're following the show at Shy Bears Central on every social media platform. You can also send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearsCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bears related. And like I like to end every episode on, Chi-Town up, but bear down. Love you guys. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.